2023 there were two motorcycles that I was really excited about. First one was the Speed 400, which was launched back in July 2023, and I booked the motorcycle, then I cancelled it after a month, and a few months later Royal Enfield drops this one. I've watched a couple of spy shots, first ride review videos even before the actual launch event. If you look at the current lineup of Royal Enfield motorcycles, the base variant in the Hunter starts at 1.49 lakhs ex-showroom. But the next one, Hunter 350, all the 350cc motorcycles, then you have the 411, Scram 411, which is priced at around 2.1 lakhs ex-showroom. From that price, from 2.1 lakhs to around 2.8 lakhs, there are no other bikes. Like, there is a good amount of gap available for Royal Enfield to tap into, and even if they come up with the next generation of motorcycles like the Scram 450 or Hunter 450 ever in the future, then they have enough room to actually place those motorcycles in that price bracket. And because currently the market for 300 to 400cc motorcycles is quite hot, I think they have enough legroom or enough room to be able to place and experiment the prices. Now currently the prices have been increased for this bike. The introductory price that was offered for 2.69 lakhs for Casa brown color, it was, I think that was very value for money considering what this bike has to offer, like the LCD display and ride modes. The good thing that they have provided quite a number of things in that kind of a price, because you also have competitors like Duke, Adventure 390 from KTM, and then you have the Scrambler 400X from Triumph, which also has a similar pricing. Now that they have increased the prices, there is a good amount of difference between the Scrambler and the Himalayan 450. Now coming to the design aspect of the bike, I totally like the way that it looks. You already might have seen a lot of videos, but particularly I like this Casa brown color for two reasons. One is that it has a very minimal kind of color. There are people who actually like Hanley black. So many people actually like Hanley black, white and the other colors, but not many people like Casa brown. But I personally like this one because it is quite minimalistic, and there are only two colors, like the black on the engine, and the rest of it is pretty much the Casa brown. Another thing I feel that they have strategically placed is the engine on an adventure motorcycle, because usually these kind of bikes, they go through quite a bit of stress when the users ride it in on the off-road patches, and some of them who use it in the mountain ranges, they put enough stress on the engine that any reliability issues can be rectified by the company, so that the next generation of engines will have a better refinement. Now this is not really a refined engine. I can feel a lot of buzz coming in whenever I rev it a little. There is a good room for improvement when it comes to the engine refinement. Now this is the first time that I'm ever riding an adventure motorcycle, and actually I was a little intimidated by the way that it looks, because it has a long wheelbase and it's heavy at 196 kgs. Actually, for a 5'6" who is 65 kgs weight, this one feels a little heavy definitely, but I got used to it very well, very easily. It's not that hard to ride. Now the moment you sit on a motorcycle, it may feel a little heavy and also a little big for you, but once you ride it for around 2 to 3 kilometers, then it's going to be very easy for you. And coming to the reach, I'm 5'6", I'm not able to flat foot. Now I'm wearing shoes that have a bit of insole to it, but even then this is a tall bike for me. If you have a better inseam length and something like that, then you should be able to flat foot, or your legs would be able to reach it on the ground. Now when it comes to the whole design, you have a totally different design language compared to the older generation Himalayans. Previously the instrument console was analog. This one you have LCD display. It has so many nice features to it, but I kind of like the previous generation's instrument cluster, even though it is analog, because it used to look very sophisticated with that tripper navigation as well. It kind of used to give like you are on a you have a nice cockpit in front of you. The rear tire looks a little thick. That goes well with the design of the motorcycle. And you have this nice small exhaust with a catalytic converter over here. And coming to the engine, this is the first liquid cooled engine from Royal Enfield. Like I said, it produces around 40 bhp of power and 40 newton meters of torque. The whole silhouette of the motorcycle looks quite nice. At least for me, this looks really good. The older generation is loved by many people, but it kind of has a raw and rugged appearance. But coming to this one, since the design has been changing, and this is going to be exported to other countries, so I kind of like the whole design for that, in that sense. For this kind of price range, I think this is one of the very nice value for money adventure motorcycles, is what I feel. When you sit on the motorcycle, when it comes to the point of view, for you it may look a little too simple, but I would have loved to have another analog console over here or something like that. But this provides a lot of information, like the ride modes, ABS. You can turn off or turn on the ABS, and then you can also be able to do a lot of other things, like change the color of the display to your preference, like the black or white. And this is the joystick. I am not really confident about this one, because if ever this one breaks off, I don't know if they will have the spare part for this one, or do we have to change the whole setup. You have a USB-C port over here, and this does not come in contact with this part of the motorcycle, so that's okay. You have Showa suspension, and now when it comes to the suspension setup, the small potholes, it does absorb really fine, but I kind of have a feeling that this suspension is on a stiffer side. You do have 230 mm of travel, but this one has more or less like a stiff suspension setup. The LED indicators in the back are also functioning as your brake lights, which is nice thing from the modern standards, modern design perspective. But if you break any one of those, then the whole setup might require a full change, so that might also be a little expensive, is what I think. If you are coming from a 350cc or even bikes with 24 bhp of power, this will feel very nice when it comes to the power figures and the way that the engine performs. But again, like I said, there is a bit of vibes coming in on the handlebar and the foot pegs. There is good amount of mid-range, but low end kind of takes a little bit of time to kick in, and ride-by-wire also feels very nice. The throttle response is quite good. So finally they have given the slipper clutch on this motorcycle, and I have been struggling with the classic 350 because the clutch, it feels quite hard in that one. Now that they have given the slip and assist clutch on this one, it feels quite smooth to be able to shift the gears, but it is not as light as the other Honda motorcycles or any others, like even the Speed 400. It does have a little bit of tighter clutch action is what I feel, but it's okay, much better than the classic 350. Coming to the mileage figures, considering that this is a 450cc engine, I believe anywhere between 25, or it would be a little lower than that if you are riding it in the city, and if you are using it on the highways, it should be around 27 or somewhere a little above, which is fine enough since this bike weighs around 196 kgs and it is a bit of a heavy bike. Although this bike is not intended for city use, but I am still able to ride it without any issue. I am able to kind of maneuver it here and there, but it does take a little bit of conscious effort to be able to switch lanes, and if you are on a bumper to bumper traffic, that's when it will get a little tricky, because the long wheelbase does take a little bit of effort to move around the city traffic. What's more exciting for me is that I will be waiting for the other bikes in this power segment, so let's see how they would bring the next bikes for this one, hoping that they would bring with a little bit of more refinement and the same features. I also do wish that they should have given the option to have like totally analog disc cluster, but again, that is only a personal preference, and it would also lower the prices, is why I feel that they could have offered it. But that's that.